If you walked into a high-end space, just like a few years ago, you were essentially paying top dollar for pure emptiness.
Oh, totally.
Right. Whether it was a luxury hotel or a modern home or, a massive event, there was this intense expectation of unfiltered minimalism. You'd walk in and there would just be these stark white walls, maybe a single, very lonely succulent sitting in a concrete pot, and just clean, sharp lines everywhere.
Yeah, you were basically living inside a very expensive, very empty cube.
Exactly, an empty cube.
Yeah.
But fast forward to the design trends happening right now in 2026, and that stark white cube hasn't just been modified, it's been completely shattered.
Oh, it is gone.
It's gone. Couples planning luxury events are suddenly demanding something completely unhinged. They want 18th century French palaces. I mean, the era of the empty cube is dead, and Marie Antoinette is officially back. Welcome to today's deep dive, where we are exploring a radical, massive aesthetic swing toward absolute, unapologetic, old-world opulence.
It really is a fascinating pivot because, you can almost map cultural psychology by looking at aesthetic trends.
Right.
When a pendulum swings away from something as pervasive as minimalism, it never just nudges in the other direction. It swings hard. It demands the exact opposite of what we've been accustomed to.
And to understand the actual mechanics of this massive swing, we are poring over a fascinating design guide and friend report that we sourced for you today. It focuses specifically on the Rococo Revival and Old World opulence that's taking over luxury ballroom weddings.
Yeah, the details in this are incredible.
They really are. So our mission for this deep dive is to deconstruct this trend. We want to understand what Rococo Revival actually is, the underlying psychology of why modern couples in 2026 are suddenly craving this specific European palace aesthetic, and how the modern event industry is mechanically adapting to pull this off. Okay, let's unpack this. Where does the term Rococo even come from, and what does it actually look like in practice?
Well, to really grasp the Rococo Revival we're seeing today, we have to travel back to 18th century France. That is where the original Rococo movement flourished. If you look at the architectural styles that dominated right before it, specifically the Baroque period, those spaces were incredibly heavy, imposing, and deliberately intimidating.
Like meant to make you feel small.
Exactly. They were designed to project absolute power. So Rococo was a rebellion against that heaviness. It became famous for elegance, romance, and a real sense of lightness.
So it sounds like it was a shift from wanting to intimidate people to wanting to enchant them.
That is a perfect way to frame it. Instead of massive, heavy structures, Rococo is characterized by soft, sweeping curves and these really fluid, asymmetrical designs.
Right, less rigid.
Yeah, less rigid. You see delicate floral patterns, luxurious fabrics, and incredible artistic details meticulously carved into ceilings and walls. And the color psychology is essential here, too.
Pastels, right.
Yes, it relies heavily on pastel color schemes paired with very intricate, brilliant gold accents. The entire mechanism of the design is engineered to feel airy, graceful, and just deeply luxurious.
Which makes me wonder about the timing of all this. Like, why are couples in 2026 looking at a style from 18th century France and deciding, yes, this is the ultimate template for a modern celebration?
We have to look at the environment these couples inhabit every single day. Modern couples have spent the last decade surrounded by highly functional, minimalistic designs.
White cubes.
The white cubes, exactly. And they are living deeply entrenched in digital, screen-filled lives. While minimalism is efficient, it strips away texture. It can lack a sense of magic or, permanence.
It's just very sterile.
It is. People are experiencing a profound craving for tactile reality. They want experiences that feel extraordinary and rooted in history. So a luxury ballroom transformed with old-world opulence provides this atmosphere inspired by grand European estates. It offers a physical escape from the sterile, fleeting nature of our modern digital lives.
I mean, I see the logic there. We are essentially abandoning the empty modern art gallery and moving directly into the Palace of Versailles to feel something real again.
Versailles.
But wait, I have to push back on this a little bit. If we are just directly copying an 18th century French aesthetic, doesn't this run the severe risk of feeling like a historical reenactment? Or worse, like a really expensive, slightly tacky costume party?
What's fascinating here is that the event industry is actively avoiding a pure historical replica.
Okay, how?
Well, that's why our sources specifically emphasize the word revival. It is a modern, curated interpretation of the Rococo movement. The goal is to create a royal celebration, but it still has to function as a comfortable, welcoming, and distinctly modern environment.
Right.
They aren't building a museum where you aren't allowed to touch the art.
So they want the grandeur of the past, but like the air conditioning and acoustics of the present.
Exactly, and that is why luxury ballrooms are the required canvas for this aesthetic. The architectural bones of a grand ballroom do a massive amount of the psychological heavy lifting here.
Because of the scale.
Because of the scale, yeah. They naturally feature 30 to 50-foot ceilings, large sweeping windows, and grand staircases. They provide the necessary historical framework, but they are fully equipped with modern climate control, state-of-the-art acoustics, and high-end amenities. You get the immersive, old-world grandeur without ever sacrificing the invisible comforts of 2026.
That makes total sense. I mean, if you tried to put these design elements into a standard hotel conference room, it would look absurd.
You would look like a set piece in a high school play.
Exactly. You need that specific architectural canvas.
Yeah.
And our sources actually go into incredible, highly specific detail on the decor, the colors, and the fashion required to build this environment. It becomes clear very quickly that this isn't just about, throwing a few antiques into a room. It is highly engineered.
Oh, absolutely. Every single element is calculated to manipulate the mood of the room. You mentioned the canvas. The sources explicitly note that the venue must feature crystal chandeliers, elaborate decorative moldings on the walls, and marble floors.
The non-negotiables.
Right. If you don't have those architectural textures, the Rococo look simply collapses. But once you secure that foundation, you have to apply the royal color palette that's detailed in the text.
And the sources break down a very specific formula for that palette. You are blending soft pastels with what they call luxury accents. So on the pastel side, you have these very soft, delicate tones: blush pink, champagne, ivory, powder blue, and lavender.
And we need to look at the mechanism of why those specific colors are chosen. If you only use pastels, a massive ballroom will feel flat, washed out, or overly sweet.
Like a baby shower.
Well, the baby shower, yeah. You have to ground those soft matte colors with reflective luxury accents. This means deliberately integrating antique gold, pearl white, rich metallics, and actual crystal elements.
Oh, wow.
The physics of the room change when you do this. The gold and the crystal catch and reflect the light, bouncing it off those soft pastel surfaces. That interaction instantly elevates the space, creating a sophisticated, glowing atmosphere that mimics a European palace.
The lighting mechanics are brilliant. And once you establish that glowing base, the sources say you have to bring in massive organic elements. The floral requirements listed in our research are staggering.
Massive.
We aren't talking about a simple glass vase in the center of a table here. Designers are using roses, peonies, hydrangeas, baby's breath, and delicate greenery, and they are engineering them into massive cascading arrangements. They are even constructing giant floral arches inspired by historic European gardens right inside the ballroom.
And the scale of those florals is a direct response to the architecture. In a room with 50-foot ceilings and massive crystal chandeliers, a standard floral arrangement simply disappears.
Right, you wouldn't even see it.
The human eye needs somewhere to land. By building a 12-foot floral arch or creating cascading installations, designers bring the visual ceiling down. It changes the acoustics by dampening echoes, and it creates a lush, overgrown canopy that makes the cavernous space feel intimate and intentional.
So the macro environment, the ceiling, the arches, the lighting creates that initial sense of awe. But a guest is going to spend like 4 hours sitting in one specific chair.
Yes.
You have to zoom all the way down to the micro level to maintain the illusion. Which brings us to the tablescapes. The descriptions in the text sound like a royal banquet.
This is where the guest experience becomes deeply tactile. When you sit down at one of these tables, you are engaging with the environment physically. The planners are curating every texture you touch.
It's all very intentional.
Very. You are eating off heavy, fine porcelain plates. You are holding gold-rimmed glassware that catches the candlelight. Your hands brush against silk table runners and intricately embroidered napkins. You are interacting with vintage-inspired centerpieces and highly elegant, textured stationery.
It's not just a dinner, it is a fully immersive theatrical production.
Complete.
And of course, if you are setting a stage this grand, the people occupying that stage have to match the aesthetic weight of the room. The bridal and groom fashion, detailed in our sources, is incredibly opulent. For the bride, we were seeing a huge